My name is Sabrina Kalmans, and I'm a freak. And I blame the early 2000s, because in the early 2000s, they told everybody to be themselves. And I was the only one who listened. So now I'm stuck like this, you know? In every first grade classroom, there's a lot of different types of kids, you know? There's the cat girl with the ears, there's the horse girl. I was the vampire girl. I was obsessed with vampires and ghosts and anything that would give me nightmares. The first book I ever read was Biblio Vampiro, Vampires and How to Avoid Them, which I reverse engineered to meet vampires, which did not work yet. So now I'm like this. From 2nd to 5th grade, I was in my school's unicycle club. Every Friday, I was in the school gym riding that one-wheel wonder. Other kids were like probably in the woods or playing with their friends, but I was learning how to ride the unicycle. The weird part was it took me 2 years to learn how to ride the unicycle, and for other kids it took like 2 months. I was the slowest learner the program had ever seen. Pretty impressive, might I say. You know, I wore the same jacket every single day for a couple years. My teacher dressed up as me for Halloween. She thought it was really funny. I did pirouettes in the hallway. The janitors would laugh at me. I kept going. You know, and one day I was in 8th grade and I looked down at my hands and I had warts on every single one of my fingers. Some fingers had 2. And I didn't know what was happening, and my mom saw it, and she said, "What is happening? We should go to the nail salon." And they immediately told me to go to the doctor because I was going to infect all of their tools. So I went straight to the doctor, and they told me I had warts. So they had to freeze my fingers with liquid nitrogen, which hurt like hell. But my mom said, "She's strong, keep going." So they were burning my fingers, and that didn't work. So instead, they took a super strong salicylic acid and I had to wrap all of my fingers with the acid, and then I went to school. Smelling like a dead body, might I add, because the salicylic acid melts your flesh to make the warts go away. And the worst part was, nobody asked me what was wrong. They all just thought this was a fashion decision that I had made for myself. I asked a girl what she thought I was doing. She said, "I just thought it was a Sabrina thing." And so that was pretty weird at the time, but I never thought of myself as an unusual person because I come from an unusual family. My mother is scientifically weird, you know? My family are nudists, you know? My mom walks into the house, takes off all her clothes, puts it in the laundry machine, gets some water, calls her friend on the phone, and then installs bigger windows for the neighbors to see. And I can't really judge because I do the same thing now, but I mean, it's still weird. And whenever I tell people, they all look at me like you guys are looking at me right now, like, that's crazy, who would do that? Apparently my family. Also, my mom, she has a tendency to throw up like an elderly dog whenever she gets nervous, which is unfortunate because she's very nervous all the time. So I always got in the middle of an altercation. I would never win an argument my entire childhood because we would get in this middle meeting point where she'd say, "I'm gonna throw up," and I said, "I guess you win." And then I would go to the open mic and bitch about her to an audience. It worked pretty well. Now I'm here. So, you know, and also the thing about my favorite thing about my mom is she has night terrors every single night. She wakes up an hour after she falls asleep, screaming like somebody's attacking her. No one is attacking her. She doesn't remember any of this. She wakes up, pees, goes back to bed, and then she just continues the night like it's nothing. The best part about college for me was the freedom, but also to escape my mother's night terrors. Just like everybody else, you know? So I got to college, and my favorite part of my mom's night terrors is she doesn't tell other people that she has them. So she goes over to my cousin's house, and she just goes like, doesn't tell them. And then she freaks them out, as she does every night, and she just has to apologize later, you know? And I think that's pretty exciting. If you're doing life the right way, maybe that's it, you know? I know you've been wondering, Sabrina, when are you gonna get married? When you're 22 years old, you're perfect. I've been wondering this, and so has my mom. But my mom has a lot of ideas about who I should marry, you know? She wants me to marry a nice Jewish boy descended from Holocaust survivors with a college degree, preferably in STEM or business. Which is a lot of things to find, you know? Statistically, not a lot of people. I did the math. It's very boring. I was going to tell you, but that took a lot of time. So now, I'm on the hunt for a nice Jewish boy descended from Holocaust survivors with a college degree in STEM. I don't really care about any of that. I just want somebody who I love and who loves me. But like, if anybody can fit those qualifications, it'd be pretty good for me. You know? I would make my family very happy. So, if anybody in the audience knows a nice Jewish boy descended from Holocaust survivors with a college degree, preferably in STEM or business, please come up to me after the show. I and my mother would love to meet them. Thank you. I'm Sabrina Kalmans. Goodbye.